What's good? It's Jordan. Today, I'll be talking to you about be selective with the advice that you provide. See, what we have to understand in society today is everyone isn't going to take the advice that you provide. Everybody isn't going to listen to you. Everybody isn't going to look at you as a valuable person. What we have to do with that is understand that and move on, move forward, and live our lives to the best and the fullest of it. See, when we try to provide everybody advice, we have to understand that sometimes people don't even ask for the advice that we may provide. We have to understand that, yes, we can be providing value. Yes, we can help. Yes, we can do all these things. But if somebody didn't ask, then we're wasting our time. Oftentimes, we may try to jump the gun and try to help people. And when we try to help people and they didn't even ask for it and it doesn't go our way, we tend to get upset and mad about that. What we have to learn is to understand that if somebody doesn't ask you for advice, don't provide them advice. If somebody doesn't ask you for help, don't help them. If somebody asks you for help and asks you for advice, then you provide the advice, then you provide the help. But if they didn't ask you, don't do it. It's a hard concept to grasp at first until you learn and understand how people are and how human nature is. When you understand that people will do whatever they want to do regardless. Regardless if you help them numerous of times, regardless of whatever you do for them, they will make the decisions of what they want to do for themselves always. So do what you need to do in your own personal life to build your life and help yourself. We can't uplift people who don't want to uplift themselves, who don't care to uplift themselves, who don't want to change, who are in fear of change. What we can do is pour into ourselves, focus on what we need to do, focus on what we need to accomplish, focus on what we're passionate about, focus on what our purpose is. Because when you're pouring into people who don't pour into themselves or don't want to pour into themselves, it's not helpful. We have to understand energy. We have to understand energy drainers. We have to understand that sometimes people don't want help out of their situation. They just want something to complain about. They just want something to be upset about. And sometimes some people are happy with the situations that they're in. Sometimes people look at the situations that they're in and look at it as fulfillment, even though it may be negative. You may be in a situation where it's filled with drama in your own personal life, filled with chaos and negativity. There's some people that just like that, and there's some people that just want that. And there's some people that look at positivity as negativity. And what we have to do is understand and identify what we want for our lives, what we want for ourselves. We may interact with other people, or we may be around these people and not really identify what we want with ourselves or what they want within their own lives. But when you're on this journey, when you're on this path, and when you're on this mission, you're going to meet many people from different walks of life and different backgrounds. And you're going to start to see their habits. You're going to start to see how they are as people as a whole when you start to socialize with them. And there's going to either be positive or negative people. You have to understand what you want to be around. Do you want to be around people who provide you with positivity, or do you want to be around people who provide you with negativity? When you're constantly around people who provide you with just negativity, then you start to become negative. Then you start to take on their habits and their character traits. But when you are around positive people, then you start to see the world different. You start to be around those who want to do better for themselves, those who want to grow, those who want to pour into themselves. And then you start to do that within yourself. So at the end of the day, I say this every day and all the time. The decision is yours. For me personally, in my personal life, if it isn't on this platform, you won't be seeing me provide anybody advice in person unless they ask for it. I will not be helping or providing advice in person because I know how people are already due to past experiences. Sometimes when you're trying to provide people advice and trying to help people, sometimes it could be a negative thing. People may start to feel like you feel that you're better than them. They may also start to feel like you're making them feel uncomfortable. And in reality, some people just like to live in their habits and do whatever they want to do and not be questioned about it. So, like I said, for me, if somebody doesn't ask me for help or ask me for advice, I will not provide them advice because I know how people are and I know how human nature is. If it isn't this platform, you will not be hearing from me, especially when it comes to any motivation or any advice. What we have to understand in our own personal lives is the choice is yours. You could continue to be around energy drainers and those who do not care about you or about the value that you may provide within your own life, or you can decide to make the changes to be around people who actually do care. Choice is always ours at the end of the day. And in reality, you have to understand that we're all valuable. Some understand and recognize their value later than others, and so be it. But what we have to understand is we all have the ability to be valuable. And there's going to be people out here who don't look at themselves as valuable. And that's not for you to try to pull them out of that headspace. It's for you to focus on yourself and focus on your own life, especially with these four components: understanding how far your mentality goes, your spirituality goes, your physicality goes, and your finances go. All these four components all play an important role within your life. And there's some people out there who just look at finances and they don't care about anything else. They think money will fix everything. And money can help, but if your physicality isn't well, if your spiritual health isn't well, or your mental health isn't well, it doesn't matter. So those four components are important in everything that you do. And it's important that we focus on that. It's important that we take the time to understand ourselves and understand what we want to be around and what we don't want to be around. See, as you grow, you're going to go through many experiences. We all go through many various different experiences, especially in this life. And you're going to start to understand what you want out of this life. What we have to understand is life is trial and error, and you may make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all do things in this life that we wish that we can actually move forward from. And those experiences are experiences that mold you into the person that you want to become. So everything that you go through in this life happens to you for a reason. And you just have to understand why things are happening to you. And you have to understand the importance of not taking things personal in this life and the importance of understanding self and understanding how you can elevate self. Because truth be told, you're not going to elevate yourself if you're around those who do not want to elevate themselves, who don't want to grow, who look at your growth as a threat. You're not going to elevate yourself. And do you want to be that person that's constantly around negativity year after year after year after year? You know, there's people out there that's been on this earth for a long time. And I'm talking about 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, and they haven't made any changes within their own selves and their own lives to actually understand their truest potential. And some people never understand their fullest potential. Some people focus on the external things more than the internal things. Some people focus on following others instead of being a leader. Some people focus on trying to appease others instead of trying to appease themselves. Some people focus on loving others more than loving themselves. And if we're honest, none of those things help. And if you don't want to understand your truest potential and your higher self, then so be it. I can't blame anybody if they don't want to do it. But what I'm saying is, when you start to see other people elevate, when you start to see other people grow, when you start to see other people do the things that they need to do in this life to place them on a higher mission and a higher path, do not feel a way about it. Know that you have the ability to change if you want to. And if you don't want to change, that's fine. Live the life that you want to live. But if others are changing, don't feel a way about that. If others want to grow, don't feel a way about it. Everyone has the ability to make the decisions in their life today to help them or hinder them. So today, I'll be leaving you with this scripture, and I hope that this scripture can help you in your own personal life today. Ephesians 4:13. Better was a poor and wise youth than an old and foolish king who no longer knew how to take advice. So understand in this life today that you have to be selective with the advice that you provide and also the advice that you take, because both of those things go hand in hand. If you're providing advice to people who do not want to hear that advice, they're not going to listen to it. And also, if you're providing advice to people that isn't the proper advice to help them, you're also hindering yourself and hindering other people. And we also have to understand that everyone isn't going to take your advice, and everybody isn't going to listen to you. Everyone isn't going to take what you say in a way that can actually help them in their own personal lives. But understand that everything that is going around in this world socially, you have to be aware of it. We all have to be aware of it. And we have to think before we make crucial decisions in this life today. You also have to be selective with the advice that is provided to you as well. Because some people may provide advice to you to just hinder your progress and stop you from going further ahead in your own personal life. So we have to focus on all of these things, especially in this life today. I want to thank you for watching. Peace.